Hello everyone! This is Box to Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every day. Have a look at me. I'm wearing a blouse made on the basis of the Japanese sewing techniques. Today I'm going to give you a full review of this blouse. I'm going to tell you why I decided to make it. I'm going to show you how to make a pattern for it and on what basis I made it. I'm going to show you the book on the Japanese sewing techniques once again. The best thing about this blouse is that it consists of just one piece of fabric. There are folds on the shoulders, there are two side seams, and a seam on the front. As I've already said, the blouse was made of just one piece of fabric. What is also very important is that the back was cut on the grain. The front was cut on the bias. Due to this fact, the front is so beautiful. This is one more mock-up of this blouse. I had made a lot of different patterns before I managed to make the right one. Now I know how to make such blouses, and I decided to show it to you. The blouse is very comfortable. It would also be pretty convenient for pregnant women. You can also make a dress on the basis of this pattern. Just make the garment longer. This is how the sleeves look like in this blouse. Notice that they are different here. You can make them as wide and long as you want. The tutorial I'm going to show you today is pretty complicated. Ira will help me. I hope that you will like the design. I'm sure that most of you will manage to make such blouses. It took us a lot of time to come up with the patterns and techniques which we wanted to show you. We changed the pattern given in the book about Japanese designs. The pattern was too complicated. I wanted to make sure that after watching these tutorials, everyone will manage to make such blouses of the one piece of fabric. The back of the blouse should be cut on the grain, and the front should be cut on the bias. I'm glad that I decided to show you this design. The blouse is very comfortable. Let's start working. Have one more look at me. I have bought a pair of white jeans recently. I want to make a white blouse to wear with it. I have different tops and blouses, but I want to make a new one. It should be light and pretty loose. I want it to be white. I recommend making such blouses of cotton. Cotton fabrics are usually not expensive. I can easily imagine myself going for a walk in a white blouse and the white jeans. Have a look at the book. It teaches us some Japanese draping techniques. I love the blouse from the first sight. I didn't even understand that it should be made of just one piece of fabric. Then I had a closer look at the pattern and the design. It showed here how to make a pattern for this blouse. Anyway, the technique is pretty complicated. It took me some time to find the patterns in the end of the book. The interpreter helped me translate these pages. Even when it was done, I couldn't understand how to make this blouse of just one piece of fabric. It's even showed here how to drape the blouse. When I had a very close look at this pattern, I realized that these are the center back, the side seam, one more side seam, the sleeve, the neckline, the center front. It's also written here that the center back should be cut on a grain. That means that the center front should be cut on the bias. Now you know where this design comes from. Next, we'll move the book aside and start working. Ira will show you the pattern presented in the book. The blouse I'm wearing now was made in its basis. You may think that it's not hard to sew something having a ready-made pattern. It actually is. It took us a week to alter the pattern in such a way that we could show it to you. We pasted a lot of tracing paper, trying to make a perfect pattern. This is the pattern which we traced from the book. This was not the first pattern. We didn't have a translation of the patterns presented in the book, so we traced the dress first. Then we traced the needed pattern and tried adjusting it. Let's have a look at this one. We tried making openings in different places, here and then here. Due to the fact that we made an opening here, the folds in this blouse look this way. Anyway, this is how we wanted it to look like. This is why we can move this pattern aside as well. We've almost reached the goal. Let's have a look at this pattern. What is interesting about it? Where's the center back? The center back should be cut on a grain. If you place the center back on the edge of the table, the center front will be placed in the bias. Due to this fact, the blouse can be made of just one piece of fabric. There should be a fold on the center back. There are no shoulder seams in the pattern. And there is just one seam on the center front. Have a look at me once again. The blouse I'm wearing now is also made of just one piece of fabric. The center back was cut on a grain and the center front on a bias. This is why the draping on the front looks that beautiful. Ira will show you how to make a pattern and how to cut such blouses. She'll tell you what to pay attention to. We'll also show you how to drape the neckline. When we cut and tack the blouse, I'll try it on. To make such blouses, we need to take some measurements. The first one is the bust. We've already measured it. In our case, 1/4 of the bust measurement is 29 centimeters. The second one is the back length. In our case, it's 41 centimeters. The last measurements are the length of the blouse on the front and on the back. We need to know the two measurements because the blouse is longer on the front than on the back. According to the book, we also need to know the length of the sleeves. In the pictures, the sleeves are gathered. I remind you that I'm wearing the mock-up. We'll make the sleeves as long and wide as they should be according to the book. The sleeves will be 56 centimeters long from the neckline to the sleeve bottom. One half of the sleeve width at the bottom is 29 centimeters. We also need to measure the width of the back. We've already showed you how to measure the back for the garment, which is sewn without basic patterns. This is how it should be done. I know that in my case the width of the back is 42 centimeters. One half of the measurement is 21 centimeters. This is how it should be done when you sew garments not on the basis of the basic patterns. Let's start working. Once again, we need the width and the length of the back, the bust measurement. These are the main measurements. We also need to know the width and the length of the sleeve and the length of the front. You can make the sleeves as wide as you want. You can also make the blouse shorter or longer. That's all for today. Next time we'll start making the pattern. We'll show you everything very thoroughly. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Goodbye.